All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back. My guy, Dedrick L. Hicks Jr., over on his channel, friend of this channel, all around good guy, did something that I think is very good in FragCom, which is, let's just have some fun with this. All the drama, all the back and forth, I'm not for that. So every now and then, doing a tag video, I think, is a great way to kind of just have the community just all be on similar accords, right? And just have some fun with the fragrances, talking about the things that we're enjoying. So this is my acceptance of the tag, and I'm going to give my 5 fragrances that are underrated that I think are worth mentioning, all right, or worth recommending. All right, stay tuned. We'll talk about it. All right, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin, and this is SmellGoodz. Appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit as we discuss, yet again, more fragrances. All right, as I mentioned, or as I want to talk about, my guy Dedrick L. Hicks, he put out a tag video, which basically he tagged me and several other creators in, basically to give our thoughts around a particular topic, and that topic is 5 fragrances that are underrated that we think are worth mentioning or recommending. So for me, y'all know I always like to define, just to make sure we're all on the same accord, make sure we're all on the same page. When I think underrated fragrances, these are fragrances that aren't getting a lot of hype, they're not getting a lot of buzz, or they may be overshadowed by other fragrances within that same house, right? Just to give you kind of an example, right? If we're talking from the house of Creed, Creed has Aventus, and then there are some that kind of also get the buzz in there, but there may be some within that same house that are underrated that still might be worth mentioning or taking a look at. So that's kind of how I'm approaching this. And for this, I'm going to give you some niche and some designer. I held off on doing colognes just because I want to give you some things that, you know, maybe kind of think outside of what we normally may, you know, look into, and some other things to maybe get your nose on and see if they are kind of what you might like. These are all that I think are worth mentioning, worth recommending. They all do something a little different with each and every one of them. All right, so let's jump into it. And at the end of this, stay tuned, because I'm going to tag 5 other people, myself, and we're going to keep this train rolling. All right, let's go. First one up is from the House of Xerjoff. This is one I don't think I've even hyped it up or really talked a whole lot about it. I've mentioned it maybe once or twice in a couple of videos just off the top of my head, but this is from Xerjoff. This is from the Casamorati line, and this is 1888. This is in all honesty, I got this as a blind buy. Price on it was pretty good. I was like, let's check it out. Looked at the notes, sounded interesting, something that I might be interested in. And I'm pleasantly surprised at what I got with this. You got carnation, you got saffron up top with this. There's even a rose note in this. This is more of, in my opinion, a nice, elegant type of elevated type of a fragrance. Definitely could work day or night in many respects, but this also just has that kind of feel to it that is, if you're wanting to go a little up a notch, you know, as far as just the attire, the environment, this would sit at home with that as well. Yeah, it's ideal in my opinion for those formal occasions where it's noticeable enough where it kind of gets you noticed, but it's soft enough where it's not overbearing. That makes sense, right? So from the House of Xerjoff, again, Casamorati 1888 is one that is underrated that you may want to get your nose on and see if it fits your vibe, fits your style. All right. Next one up is one that this is one of my holy grail type of fragrances. This is one of the fragrances that, especially when I was first starting to jump into fragrance community, early last year before, whatever it was, and I had gotten this discovery set, and I was like, that's the one right there that is going to be my fragrance of choice, right? Didn't know that it would kind of expand from there, and I'd have several fragrance of choices, or what have you. But this one is one that just for me is like, yeah. And this one I think is definitely underrated. I believe it's under the radar. I believe that the house itself has got some stuff in it that is just bangers, but I don't know that a lot of people have been put onto it. A lot of people aren't checking it out because I don't see a whole lot of conversation about it. But we're talking about from the house of Chris Collins. This one is Danse Sauvage. Danse Sauvage. This, you've got the cognac, you've got plum, you've got some oud in there. There's some cedar notes in there as well. This is just a nice, deep, rich fragrance that to me is just grown man. This is just when you want to get your grown man on. That's what this is about. This can be an intentional fragrance, but this is a fragrance that is definitely for the confident ones. This is definitely for the ones that don't necessarily have to be the center of attention. They can kind of sit on the outskirts, but definitely still direct stuff. Y'all kind of get what I'm saying with that. This is that type of a fragrance. This is a nice boss fragrance, in my opinion. Definitely, I think it's more suited for evening wear, but it's something that I've worn to the office myself as well, just because it is that type of a fragrance that can work as a signature scent as well. All right. From Chris Collins, this is Danse Sauvage. Danse Sauvage. All right. Next one up. Now, you know, if you've been on my channel, you know it's coming. At least you know it's coming from the house, right? You don't know which one, how I'm coming, but we're coming from one from the house. We're coming from the house of Mancera. And this one is Gold Prestigium. Gold Prestigium. This one, you've got up top, you've got like a little oud with some rose and vanilla in there with a nice dry down with some leather in there. This is just a rich, warm composition and fragrance that works, yes, fall, winter, but even those cool spring, like it's getting a little too warm in some respects, but definitely where I live, but definitely still spring, cool summer nights. This definitely could work. Versatile enough to where day or night, it can find itself working very well, even in your dressy situations, even in your elevated situations, but it can definitely work as a day or evening wear. This is just a versatile fragrance to me that I think goes under the radar because, again, with Mancera, you've got the Cedrat Bois, you've got the red tobacco, you've got the Oud lemon mint, you've got what else? You know, you'll hear me, and I know you'll hear Dedrick and a few other folks talk about black gold. So you'll hear about those things, but I think how Gold Prestigium kind of flies under the radar. So I'm going to call this an underrated fragrance that I'm definitely going to recommend. All right, Gold Prestigium. All right. Next one up is one that I think that when I look at the house, it's overshadowed and it's just kind of sat there. It's one that I think is a great fragrance. Now, the house itself has a lot of different things going for it. It has one kind of its signature line with few different flankers. This is another signature line, if you will, that kind of is that sub tier. And then even this one is kind of a sub tier of that. I'm talking about the house of Ralph Lauren. And if you know Ralph Lauren, you know, of course, typically we're talking Polo, right? And then what else came out? Was it Polo 67 that came out? I think it was last year, that just kind of swept across the way with how great that was. So in that mix though, I think Ralph's Club, and I'm talking Ralph's Club Elixir, I think it kind of got lost in the shuffle there. Let me shift it so you can kind of really see there we go, a little better there. All right, but this one, you get the mandarin, you get the grapefruit up top, you get some lavender. It's a little leathery at the base as well for this. But this is just a fragrance that just works in a variety of situations, works in a variety of ways, day, night, spring, summer, winter, fall. This is an all year round fragrance, in my opinion, that can work in a variety of situations. And one that I think, again, just kind of slides under the radar. It is, in my opinion, probably an underrated fragrance. Not a lot of folks talk about it, but it's something that I think you might want to check out and put your nose on. And I know you can get this pretty reasonably now at I've seen it at TJ Maxx and at Marshall's. So you might be on the lookout for it. Put your nose on it, check it out. Again, that's another one that I'm recommending. Underrated, check it out. All right. And then the last one is one from another house that I think flies under the radar. I think a lot of folks know that they do good stuff. I think their scents are really good. The challenge that many times we find with the ones from this house is the longevity. I think that's the one thing that would be a knock against the house. However, this one has a little better than average performance is what I'm getting. So I'm definitely feeling comfortable in recommending it. It is a good fragrance from the house of Jean Varvatos. And this one is XX Indigo. This one, you've got mint, lemon, and geranium up top with some cardamom in there. Looks vetiver and musk at the bottom of it. But this one is, again, another daytime, evening type of scent. It can go in a variety of ways. Very versatile, works in a variety of situations, variety of scenarios. But it's not it's a bluer fragrance, but it's not your cookie cutter bluer fragrance. There's something about Jean Varvatos, in my opinion, that there's always a little twist on it that kind of just makes it stand out a little more for me, right? And it does not disappoint with this one. This was one that I picked up just because on the strength of it was Jean Varvatos. I know that they've got a few good scents that are out there. Picked it up, actually enjoyed it, loved it. So this is another one that is on my underrated list, but another one that I think I'm going to recommend and say, hey, you might want to check out. Again, this is XX from Jean Varvatos, and this is XX Indigo. All right. So with that said, now I'm going to tag in 5. Actually, I think we're going to make it. I think I've got on my list here. We're going to make it 6 because I'm going to see if I can pull somebody off the bench. All right. But I'm going to tag 5 people that I know are content creators that have been friends of the channel that have chapped in the comments. I'm going to tag 5 of y'all to go ahead and give us your 5 fragrances that are underrated, but you think are worth mentioning and recommending. So Taste and Scents, you've been hanging around for a while, bro. Appreciate you tapping in. So Taste and Scents, want to see what you got in your list. Scents IRL, I'm gonna tag you as well. See what you got in your list, what you coming with. Let's bring the heat. D4G, bruh. I know you got a list. I know you got stuff in your collection. Let us know what you've got as far as your 5 fragrances. Christine Coyote, that's another one that has come along the channel recently. Definitely want to give some support and love to her and her channel. So whatever you've got in your list, let's hear that. Let's see that. And then my guy Fragrance Fan, appreciate you've tapped in. You've been encouraging as far as just keep going. So I want to tag you into this as well. And then we're going to pull somebody off the bench because we've had a conversation and he's talking about wanting to start a channel. So we're going to pull him off the bench with this. I'm going to give my guy Rev Rogers, I'm going to have you come and give your 5 as well. So those are the 6 people actually that I'm tagging into this tag video. Want to see, let's keep the fun going. Let's keep the energy going. Let's keep the positive energy going. Just because let's cut out all this back and forth and he said, she said, and all that stuff. Let's just have fun with the fragrances and let's tell each other kind of what we think as far as the fragrances that we're going to recommend that are underrated. All right, that's it for this one. Y'all know what to do by now. First of all, stay safe, stay sane, stay smelling good. And then of course, if you have not already, and again, I kind of ask why haven't you at this point already, but do me the honor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, request notifications, and share. All right, check out the videos here and here, wherever they are, as far as what YouTube is telling you is next. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a great one. Be blessed. Peace.